Okay, let's see what we got. We're going to start a recording here. Gotta smack some stuff around and make sure it's all cleaned off and cat hair all over every damn thing. Gotta put that back on, keep it all clean and whatnot. And are we having a session? It says we are recording. So with that, I am going to say hello, hello, hello. There you are. How are you today? My name is G and Aquarius. This is your video. We're going to talk about your June 2023. All right. So let us begin with a little bit of a backstory. All right. So if you're new here, I'll just explain some things really quickly, which is I look at the planets up in the sky. I'm an astrology geek. And so what happens is when planets move, they go into different signs. And that's like, that whole zodiac thing. That's just a condensed version. That's the very short version of it. Well, anytime they go into a different sign, it changes how we feel, how we talk, how we think, what we feel is important, what we're passionate about. Like it changes all the things in our lives, really. And some of us are super aware, like we feel it, we observe it. And then others, we might not. It might be kind of hidden and kind of mysterious, especially when we're not sure what the hell is going on, when we're looking around in the world and feeling like everything is really unstable and what is everybody saying? The world's going to hell and this and that and whatever. And so for me, the astrology, looking at the planets and then like tying it into the sign that it's in and the moves that it makes gives me a sense of peace. It gives me a lot of peace because it helps me to understand the cycles, the collective cycle that we are in. And I say collective because it's who and whatever is on the planet Earth. You follow? So we're all in this together. It's kind of cliche, but it is true. And I then look at the signs, the horoscopes, the zodiacs, and then I kind of formulate a message, a reading, and some information based upon what's up there and the moves that things are going to be, the signs they'll be going in and out of, So with that said, Jupiter moved into Taurus Energy, and this happened midway through May. So I got to talk about that a little bit so that we understand what's going to happen at the beginning of June. Okay. Jupiter will still be in Taurus. Now, Jupiter typically is a very benevolent energy. It's normally good. It normally is very generous. It's confident energy. Jupiter is, you'll hear Jupiter themes, justices and judges and the judicial system, right? Especially here. Well, I shouldn't say especially here. The only politics I really follow, and I don't even dare say that I follow it, is in the US because that's where I live. But because this is all the energy and all the impressions that we are all in together, depending upon what country you're watching from, by the way, comment to me and let me know down below. Let me know how this fits into where you're at, because that's just even, I think that's more fascinating for me. So Jupiter isn't just that. Jupiter's also airlines. It's the flights, right? It's traveling. Not so much the airlines themselves, but your sign, Aquarius, is the airlines. It's like global systems, all global systems. So we think about the airlines are one of the global systems. What about the financial systems? What about like the World Health Organization? Like think of all the different global systems. I often talk about the International Space Station. It's a collaboration, right? Between different countries, between partners, between, let's go explore the space together. And we have this global commitment, this global cooperation to do that and to pull resources together to do something for humankind, for mankind to move forward, to progress together. And that is you. That's Aquarian energy. Very, very progressive, very outside of the box, and usually looking to do something. Think of Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci. Think of these older, people who were like at the cutting edge, the Wright brothers, people who were at the cutting edge of inventions, inventing things that helped humanity progress, right? So ships, big ass ships. We see those big ass ships from around the world coming into Texas all the time. Do boondocking with Dennis. Check out his channel if you like watching beautiful shit and beautiful ships. The Gulf of Mexico and palm trees, and he's got a great sense of humor. And yeah, he's boondocking, so he's living out of his truck. And anyway, so he often shows the ships coming in. He has videos labeled Ship Watch, and he often looks at the details and the stats on an app called Vessel Finder, I think he said, if I can remember correctly. And on there it tells you the flag that ship is carrying, like the flag that the country that it represents, basically, right? And so very rarely is there ever one from the United States. It is countries around the world, because they're in the Gulf of Mexico, they're in Rockport and the Port Aransas area. They have the refineries, the oil refineries, right, that take that crude oil and convert it. And I don't know the science exactly, right? But they convert it and make it into a usable thing. I got a kitty cat. Okay. She's like, we're on. I got to come on up. Come on up, girly. There you go. This is Taffy. For those of you who are new, who may not know, here is Taffy the Tortie. Are you going to take a seat? Come on, chill with me. We're doing Aquarius's video. I got to get the notes here. So we're talking about Jupiter, and we're talking about you, because we're talking about global systems. We're talking about things being very cutting edge and being different. That's Aquarius. It challenges us to use science to progress, to be inventive, to think differently, to consider things we haven't considered before. It is literally the scientist. It is also astrology. That's you. That's Aquarius energy. So very inventive thinking, very original thinking, very unique, independent. This is a sign that loves freedom of thought, that definitely doesn't follow conventional thought. It does not. However, this sign can tend to, think of kids when they're young and they want to become independent and they want to rebel from their mom and dad. That's exactly what they do. They rebel. Even if it's harming themselves, they don't care. They're at a stage where it's all about the rebellion, right? It's all about the rebellion. It's all about, I am not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm not going to do what you think I should do. You are not the boss of me. That's Aquarius energy. You are not the boss of me. So Jupiter, right? Sign of Jupiter is expansive, and it adds to things. And it leaves Aries energy, the whole energy that was very much about individuality and even war like energy. Absolutely. So it would have expanded upon war and fighting, right? And it goes into Taurus energy midway through May. So it becomes more about, what do we really value? Let's reprioritize. It might be time to sit down and to think things through. It might be time to have those adult conversations, because Mercury was also in Taurus doing a retrograde. So it's like, we need to have these serious discussions. What do we really value? We need to cut away the crap. We need to find a way to make peace, because that's Taurus. Venus is its ruler. Peace-loving Venus rules Taurus energy. So it's about my creature comfort. So it's food, it's our commodities, it's our values, it's banking, the money in the bank, right? Money in the bank. It's about the earth itself, a very earthy sign. So Jupiter going into there and leaving impulsive and highly irritable Aries, right? Although Aries was very optimistic. So there might have been a burst of optimism that some of you felt. I know for myself, believe it or not, I felt a burst of optimism. And so that was nice. And I will likely very much miss that. But we'll see. Taurus going into Jupiter now shifts. Instead of wanting to just start stuff, because Aries is the instigator, right? Instead of just wanting to go it alone, be very independent, right? And be the leader and be standing out, right? It's more about it's number 2, house number 2, which speaks to partnerships in a way. It's more like me and my possessions, me and my values, me and my love, who I desire, what I desire, how I receive. That's Jupiter going into Taurus. Those are all Taurus keywords. Jupiter's job then is to expand upon all of that. Whatever Jupiter touches, it's a gas giant. So it kind of exaggerates, it kind of expands upon it. So Jupiter being there, Jupiter's typically very generous. I mentioned that at the beginning. It's very generous energy, right? And it's also usually a very optimistic energy as well. And it also has the ability to see into the future. It's prophetic or prophetic. It's excuse me, my words are weird. It's it may get it just kind of has these knowings. It's almost like I'm talking to God, or I feel like I'm getting downloads or information from God, which is why we use the word prophets. Okay. So you may be a prophet, even though you might not call yourself a prophet or technically use that word, right? Who the hell calls themselves a prophet? But you follow what I'm saying, right? It's like you may kind of feel that connection. Okay. So having that information coming through, having the foresight about your values, that is Jupiter. It's like we are getting a wake up call because we are looking down the road and we're like, okay, this needs to have some longevity to this. And so we're really reprioritizing. Okay, reprioritizing our values. And so possibly the airlines might be highlighted when Jupiter goes into Taurus energy, because Jupiter is about taking flight and going on a trip, going across, flying over the oceans. That's Jupiter. It's vacations. It is religion and spirituality, which is why I mentioned like God energy and talking to God. And then, of course, the judges and the judicial system and possibly unconscious judgments. So for you, Aquarius energy, you're going to have your 4th house lit up. Your 4th house has Taurus energy in it, right? And this is your home. And you want home to be your place of peace, your comfort. It is really, truly your castle. Very earthy, earth tones. There could be like trees and shrubbery and plants. And even inside the house itself, lots of wood and nature, earth tones, wood even. But like you're probably going to like quality, right? It's not going to be like some of you could be like, okay, I've got the floor that looks like the fake wood floor, but then some of you who've been around a little bit longer or who have the means, you're like, oh no, I want the real wood floor, damn it. I don't want the fake stuff. I want the real deal. So just think about quality as well, but material and tangible, right? But Taurus can also be, I'm trying to manage Taffy in the light here. Taurus can also be the sensual side of your life because it's like Venus, and Venus is my sensualities, which is why in the home you may find you are all about lighting the candles. You want things that smell good, look good, taste good, that feel good. Your home has got to be a place of peace for you. And this can be difficult because your idea of peace, think of the, 68 or 69. Which one? Who are you? 68 or 69, right? And so when we think about the thermostat and the temperature, sometimes that 1 degree for someone who's got Taurus in the home, it's stubborn energy. It is very stubborn. Okay. And this is not me pointing a finger at a fixed sign because you are an Aquarius rising. So this can be quite challenging. You're an Aquarius on the ascendant. You got Taurus in the 4th house. It's like, oh, damn, because that's a square, right? So it's like the home kind of angles your body, and so it can be a challenge. And the goal is because fixed energy creates like a square, right? And what happens is, if you ever look at a square, literally, there's that point where the 2 lines meet, right? And it creates that angle, that 90-degree angle. Well, it's pointy at the very tip of that 90-degree angle. That's a point there. It's rough. It could almost be considered, if you were to bang your hand, On that point, how many of you have done that? I've done it 1,000 trillion of times. The back of my hand when I'm walking, especially when I used to be working and moving all the time, have to move fast, and I'm trying to help this person, trying to help this person. So I'm moving and pivoting, and I would turn, and like the back of my hand, like I don't know why this spot right here always used to smack right on the edge of a damn countertop. And it would be like that. It's the edge of a counter. There'd be that 90-degree angle. And oh my God, that shit hurt. It was like, I don't know, it was almost like hitting a funny bone or something, and it was so horrible. So anyway, my point is it can be like that. And that's a difficult energy. So as we get older, as we live more, as we experience more, because some people live an entire life, couples of lifetimes within one lifetime, right? So the more you experience, the more this angle literally will get it will wear down. I don't think there's such a word as that, G. Weared down, worn down. Like I said, forgive me, Mercury. Yeah, I'm having trouble. So it'll get worn down. And that's over time, right? So the fourth house, you're going to have Jupiter there. You're going to have Jupiter and Taurus in your fourth. This is your home and family. This is mom. This represents your emotions and your feelings, mothering, nurturing, possibly the mother wound, right? This is your tribe energy because it's in the fourth house. So you're going to vibe with people who have, whether they're a Taurus sun or a Taurus moon or a Taurus ascendant, people who have some strong Taurian qualities. You're going to vibe with those people. There's something about that is emotionally satisfying. This is like a security blanket. Whenever I just kind of got this little epiphany earlier today to better explain the fourth house for people. Maybe it's not better an explanation, but just another way to think about it. How about that? The fourth house is our security blanket. So whatever sign we have there, if that's your security blanket, regardless of who you are, right? So for you, we're talking about Taurus. So it's the material, the tangible, your home. You're going to want to sticks and bricks because Taurus can typically be traditional. Taurus wants quality. It wants the good stuff, but it's mine. It is mine. This is my house, damn it. So this can be really tricky. I was giving an example in another video of a woman who was married. I think it was her second marriage. And she was saying, the whole time we were married, never once did he ever refer to our house as our home. Matter of fact, he would often say, this is my house. Like the whole my house, my rule type of thing. She said he never, ever, ever, in all the time we were married, referred to it as our home or our house. Or let's go back to our house. Or I can't wait till we get home. There was never comments like that. It was always about, this is my house. We're going back to my house type of stuff, right? And so that would be someone who's very fixed, very possessive, definitely more of a younger, selfish perspective. Absolutely, right? Self-centered, absolutely. And I never saw that person's chart, so I don't know what they had. I'm not even saying that they had Taurus in the fourth, but I told the story to give an example of how for some of you, you may feel like that. And so it would be a challenge. The best thing for me, the best advice I think I could give, because if this was my chart and I've got Taurus in the fourth, and if I was going to have a relationship and be committed and decide to cohabitate, to get married and live together, I would, for me, knowing how I am, if I had Taurus in my fourth house, I would probably recommend that I sell the home I have and that we go buy another home together. That way, both our names are on it. And I feel it's almost like I need that checks and balance there. Like I need that thing to be like, no, this isn't your home. It's our home. Remember, like you chose to do this, G, right? And yeah, if I had Taurus in the fourth, I think that would probably be smart for me. I mean, it depends, like, how it's angled and if it's difficult, right? Anyway, Jupiter's going to be here and it's going to expand upon it. It's going to expand. So some of you might be not selling a home, but you may be purchasing another home, or you may get married and keep your original home. And now you've got two homes, right? You may travel, right? You may have a vacation home. Yeah, it can, Jupiter adds to things. So it adds to your values, Taurus energy. Now, because it's home, it's not just the sticks and bricks. It can be your emotions too and your feelings. Maybe you're getting more feminine energy in your life. Taurus is feminine, but Jupiter is masculine, right? So maybe there's somebody that comes along. If there's anybody who's looking for marriage or looking for a masculine energy, that would come along and kind of be nurturing, but there would be an abundance of it now because it's Jupiter. And Jupiter typically for a feminine energy looking for masculine, or anybody looking for masculine, let's put it like that. Jupiter will represent that masculine energy. And it would be like, ooh, I kind of like that person, right? There's a little bit of this, ooh, they do good for me. Like I'm good with them, that kind of thing. All right. There's other things in the chart to look for when you're looking for compatibility. That's not just the only thing. But if Jupiter comes into the home, there's an abundance of something. Think of food, think of gardening, think of shopping and like sprucing the house up, adding to the home's beauty in some way. Taurus is all about beauty and creativity and artistic, but possibly the value of your home is going up. So maybe you're doing things that increase the value of the home. Okay. Now that is for the next 14 months of your life. So that takes us into 2024, halfway through 2024. All right. Now we get to the beginning of June. I said all of that to explain partway through May, but the next 14 months of your life. But the beginning of June, that same Jupiter is now conjunct the North Node in your fourth house. So if you don't have your chart, comment to me below so I can get it to you. If you don't have your chart and you don't want your chart, but yet you want to know what the hell it is I'm talking about, meaning, gee, I don't know what I have in my fourth. I don't know what degrees my fourth house cusp line is. I don't know if I have a planet there at that degree. But could you tell me? I could. All you got to do is comment to me, start a rapport with me, and we'll take the next step. I will help you out in any way that I can. All right. Now, there's a full moon at the beginning of this month. And it's a big deal because Jupiter rules the full moon. Now you understand why I went to so much time to explain Jupiter in Taurus. There is a full moon, 13 degrees and 17 minutes on the 3rd of June. This represents a release. It's a full moon. That's home. That's family. The moon represents the same keywords, the same words that I talked about for your fourth house. Emotions, nurturing, sticks and bricks, my family, my tribe, my mom. That's all the moon energy. That's all the fourth house energy. They're one and the same, right? So you're releasing a belief. Jupiter's also beliefs, if I didn't say that. Releasing a belief about mom, possibly releasing a mom, possibly releasing a home. Maybe somebody is, after all, selling one of their homes. Possibly. There have to be multiple things. You need me to take a look for you. Comment below. I will do what I can. Okay. So a release. Now, we move on through the month and we have a new moon. A new moon, this is exciting energy because it represents a time when something new is beginning. And it's the last big new moon for 2023. And I say that it is the last big new moon because in the lunar new year, the first 3 new moons are huge. It sets us up for that full year until the next lunar new year begins. So for the next 12 months, right? This is the last one. This is a new moon in Gemini. Right. So the first one was in Aries, the next one was in Taurus, and the third one is in Gemini. You see? So those first 3 set us up for the next 12 months. Now, a new moon represents a new beginning. And if it's in Gemini, we know that Mercury, the planet Mercury, is ruling this new moon. This is my mind. This is how I think, what I think about, how I talk and communicate and relate. And it is digital. It's neighbors, digital neighbors, but it is the neighbors that I am surrounded by. It is the people that literally live across the way. It's possibly the people that you live with, sibling energy, peers. Okay. This is classmates. This is coworkers. This is networking. This is sales, right? So this is e-commerce. I always forget to say e-commerce. Gemini is sales. Absolutely. E-commerce is digital sales. So it's that, and it's a new beginning. See if you have something at the degree of this new moon. This new moon happens on the 17th and the 18th of July. June, 17th and 18th of June. It is at 11:37 p.m. So adjust for the time zone that you're in because it's so late in the day. You may be on the 18th with yours. And it happens at 26 degrees. It's actually 27 degrees because it's 26:43. This is exciting when we have something at the higher degrees. It doesn't mean things are going to be easier. Okay, let's be clear about that. These are the mastery degrees. These means this is like you're taking the mastery level classes, the 303s, like you've already done the 101 and the 202. Now you're in the 303s, okay? So, it's exciting because we have the opportunity to show what we've learned. We have the opportunity to learn more. We have the opportunity to change the way we talk and think. We have the opportunity to manifest what we want because this is a new moon, and the new moons are all about bringing in that which we desire. It's when we set our intentions. It is the time of the metaphysician. It is the time of working with the energies, Gemini and Mercury, and understanding the mind, possibly changing the thoughts that we keep, possibly weeding out the garden, right? Being the keeper of that garden, weeding out those unwanted, unnecessary, and outdated thoughts that we're limiting in some way and getting rid of them, right? This is a perfect opportunity for that. Now, to be more specific for Aquarius, this happens in your fifth house. Fifth house, children, fun, coworkers, joy. Did I just say coworkers? I did because it's in Gemini. Okay. So Gemini energy, children, here's typically, if we're talking about children and it's Gemini energy, school. When I went to school, when I was at school, likely, possibly sports, but doing something with like games and fun, something with our body. I think of like jumping rope and hopscotch when we were younger, right? Doing things with our body, right? Nowadays, if we have Gemini in the fifth house, a lot of that stuff is like this. That could be gaming, online gaming, right? The fifth house. But it's definitely digital. It's something you enjoy. It's something that gives you joy. And it's something that you might have to set alarms. Like you might have to be like, I'm only spending an hour doing this. I'm only spending an hour doing that, right? There's this networking energy that happens. This would be people who would also do the online gaming stuff where you're like talking, not necessarily talking, but possibly like combating in a fun game way online with friends because it's Gemini in the fifth, right? And the fifth house by itself is very physical. It's like taking a risk with my body, right? But it's in a creative way too. Okay. So sometimes, especially if you have Gemini here, it's using it in a creative way with your mind, but also with your thumbs, because this is Gemini, hands and wrists and thumbs, right? So it's a lot of that going on. Okay. Now, if it's a new moon, what do you want to do with it? What do you want for your future? What have you been trying to work on? Are you trying to create something? Are you writing a game? WRITING. I know people who do that. And I'm always like, how does one do that? How cool, right? I don't think my mind works that way. Like, I love creating, but that part of that kind of creating, that escapes me. And I love writing, but writing a game is not the same as writing, right? Although those people who can write and who are very eloquent speakers, like, yeah, they're pretty cool. Some of these people can write games too. And so that's exciting to me, very exciting. So maybe you're going to be doing that. Maybe you've always wanted to do that. Remember, Gemini energy is the scribe. It's the reporter. It is the vlogger. It's the blogger. It's somebody who's taking information in and who's sharing it. It's the back and forth with information. They love to debate. They love to debate. They love the exchange of ideas. So in other words, it's okay if you don't have the same thoughts. Matter of fact, Gemini likes to be able to stretch their mind and go to the other exact opposite side. It's known to be a dualistic energy, two-faced. That's a negative word for saying that, but it's what it means. It means this side of my face will show you this, and then this side of my face will show you this, and they'll be very contrarian, very different views, right? But see, Gemini loves that. It loves the idea that it can that its mind is able to see all around and perceive all around. It really enjoys that. And so it can be very frustrating for people because they're like, wait a minute, but you just said this, you know? So you might have fun with that with people. Having, you might be a comedian as well, because the fifth house is about laughter. It wants to have a good time and laugh, laugh, laugh. The place of the comedian, very, very, very sharp and witty energy here. Very sharp and witty. So yeah, I'm not sure what this means for you in terms of in your life, but if you have something at the degrees 2643, that means this new moon is a very big deal for you. And that's a 2-degree orb. So like 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 degrees of Gemini. And that's 11:37 p.m. on the 17th and the 18th of June. If you don't know and you want to know, comment below. I will help you figure that out. I will do whatever I can to clarify the air and to give you more information so that this all astrology stuff doesn't seem so confusing. Okay. So with that, I will add one last thing. Learning is fun for you. So what I'm talking about here, the astrology, you may be an old hand at this already. You may be like, yeah, I don't know all about that. It's natural to me. I don't have to study it. It's not a big deal, because learning, it's like you would just gobble up the information, gobble up the details. Traveling, short trips, short journeys. I think about the market, being a seller at a market, going shopping, but talking and talking and talking and communicating and online and having lots of digital neighbors. Fun. Right. A way to be in your happy place. Salesman energy. Big time here. Okay. Happy June 2023, Aquarius. I will see you in your next video. Bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.